But the biggest thing that is going to be really hard for me that I learned is that saying y'all is not good, which y'all is directly within my blood and my bones. I say y'all all the time. So we are submitting all of our citizenship paperwork tomorrow. It is all together. We're just kind of getting one last person to take one last look at it, and it's all getting submitted tomorrow, which I'm so excited about. Because of Bill C-3, my grandmother is a lost Canadian, and Bill C-3 is looking to restore her Canadian citizenship, which would trickle down to me being a Canadian citizen and possibly even my kids. So we are submitting for all three of us, and we do have a meeting with our immigration advisor this week to kind of just make sure we're on the same page with everything, because we really want to do this the right way, and we want to make sure we follow all the legal channels and make sure we do everything right. It's so important to us. Hi, I'm Jen, and I do things, and this is my diary-ish conversation with you about our move, my family, myself, and my two teenagers, from the east coast of the US to Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And this week we fired our immigration consultant. I hate the word fired because it sounds so mean. Really what happened was we decided that we did not want to work with him anymore, and I'll tell you why in just a second. And we did get some of our deposit back, which we're very thankful, because we had given him, I think it was close to $2,000 US to work with him, and we're gonna end up paying, I'll put the actual numbers on the screen when I verify with my husband. I think we ended up paying him about $400 USD is what we're going to lose on the deal from working with him. And he did help us some. We hired him because we had hit a wall with our immigration. We had an original plan that my husband was going to go back to school at Camosun College, and I was just going to be going as a visitor and then have to renew that visitor visa every 6 months, on the understanding that I am not taking a Canadian job as a visitor. You can't work in Canada as a visitor. So I'd be able to support myself through my YouTube job as a digital nomad. So I would be underneath him, and then my son would be going to high school, and my oldest, who's non-binary, would be going to University of Victoria, UVic there. So they would all be on study permits. I would be on a visitor visa. That was where we were when we hired our immigration consultant. So the wall that my husband hit was when he was doing his study permit, he was trying to add me as a visitor to his study permit, and he couldn't figure out how to do that. It seemed like there was a path to do it, but he couldn't figure it out. So we hired an immigration consultant to kind of help us through the process, because we had heard horror stories about how people had filed the paperwork on their own, made a small mistake, and then it got kicked to the back of the line, and it just extended the process a lot. I was like, you know what? Let's take the stress off of my husband, and let's just hire somebody who's done this before, who knows what they're doing, to get us through the process to make sure we do everything right the first time. But since we hired him, our plan has completely changed, because we found out through the lovely community here that there is a bill called C-3 that's currently going through Parliament that could grant me citizenship to Canada through my grandmother. When we brought that to our immigration consultant's attention, he said he was helping some other people to immigrate through C-3. My husband spent so many hours putting these packets together for the citizenship applications, and he wanted to run them by our immigration consultant, since we had him on retainer, to see if there were any holes in anything. And what we found was that he didn't even seem to understand, like he asked how my grandmother is a Canadian citizen. Like, do you have proof of that? When we had sent him her baptismal record, we sent him my father's birth certificate that had my grandmother on there and her birthplace of Kapuskasing, Ontario. We sent him her nationalization papers that said that she had been born in Canada. I mean, we'd already given him all that, and he's like, well, what's your proof? And it was weird. And just the way that he was corresponding with us, it just seemed like he was less knowledgeable than we had anticipated. The other thing was with the study permits. Now, the way that it works is you have to get all of this information together in order to fill out a form, right? So my husband got all the information together and then sent it over to the immigration consultant. Well, what he realized when my husband went in to fill out this paperwork was that the vast majority of the work was getting that work together, that the form actually wasn't hard. Once he didn't need to include me on it, which wasn't a thing anyway, and he didn't tell us it wasn't a thing to include me on it. He just was like, yeah, I'll help you with it Anyway, we felt deceived. We felt like it was one of those things where he was just trying to milk us for money, and he wasn't actually helping us do anything worth thousands of dollars. I'm talking like $5,000 USD that we were going to end up being charged for doing this immigration stuff. And when my husband went in to do the study permits, it really was very easy once he got all the stuff together. But he was going to have to get this stuff together anyway because the immigration consultant needed it. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up breaking up with him. And we have some progress on that in that we have applied for the study permit for my husband, the study permit for my son, and my husband got an email earlier today that said those study permits were already being processed, which is amazing. So cool. We also submitted the citizenship paperwork for myself and my 2 kids, because depending on what happens with Bill C-3 enrollment, we'll know more around November 20th. It may not go through fully then, where it's kind of all up in the air because, governments, we don't know when things are going to actually go through. But when we talked to Don Chapman, who's in charge of the Lost Canadians movement, and he has been pushing for this for 2 decades, Don Chapman advised us to just get the paperwork in, and if they need more information or if things change, then at least we're in the system if things go the way that he thinks that they're going to go. So that paperwork has been submitted. We've submitted so much stuff since the last time I talked to you 4 days ago, and we are on the path. We also had our realtor came by and took some photos of our house because we're going to be selling this house. So that was very exciting. My husband did a lot of work on the outside of the house, making sure that our patio was power washed and our sidewalks were power washed. And we went and bought flowers, and we did a whole thing to make our outside of our house look really pretty. I'm going to show you just one photo of our patio because it's gorgeous, and they just did such a great job with the photos, and my husband did such a great job cleaning things up. So I figured I would show you that. But those are the main updates for the week. But then I want to comment on the things you all helped me with from the last video. My biggest thing was that I had been getting a lot of critiques on my use of the word y'all. And the lovely people who commented reassured me in the vast majority that it's okay if I continue to say y'all because it is part of who I am and it's in my vocabulary. But the thing is I have to accept that if it stays in my vocabulary, that's going to automatically identify me as having grown up in the US. And because of the tensions between Canada and the US government right now, that may not be a good thing, that people may judge me for that. They may think that I'm from a place that wants to annex Canada. Which I'm not. But people, you have to make judgments quickly sometimes, and that could be a judgment that could come from it, which is totally and completely understandable. People also assured me that the more I live there, which, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, the more I live there, the more the people around me are going to influence the way that I talk, and I may lose some of my Americanisms that I'm bringing with me. And I think I'm just going to try to lose those naturally instead of trying to push and not say things, because it's hard. It's hard to stop talking, especially when you're talking casually like I am now. I'm not filtering what I'm saying to you. It's hard to not say things the way I just always say it. I am more aware of my y'alls now, and I think maybe being more aware, it'll eventually trickle its way out of my language. But thank you so much for that feedback, because I don't know what's real. All I know is what I'm seeing on the internet, and you can tell me what's real or not. And I appreciate that so much. And with that being said, that's the update for these past few days. I'm really enjoying putting these up about every 4 days to give you an update. And it's funny because I'm, two days in, I was like, what am I going to talk about in 2 more days? Not a whole lot has happened. And then things happen. And it seems like things are always happening. And I appreciate that you care enough to stay tuned and follow me on this journey of immigration. It's a lot, but we are so excited, and the more we get closer to moving the summer, the more I'm just getting excited. I'm just getting so excited about going back and seeing this beautiful place again, and actually getting to live there is just, I'm going to miss it here. I'm going to miss a lot of things here, but I'm so excited for this new chapter. And thank you for following along on this journey. And I hope you continue to be happy and healthy and safe. And I will see you in a video in a few days. Bye.